In the last Ningdian interview, we covered director Ryon Lee's journey from screenwriter to director. In this episode, we delve deeper into his creative concepts and get a glimpse into his enriching life in filmmaking. Ryon Lee believes filmmaking can be a solitary and isolating profession. His ultimate satisfaction comes from the release of his work when it intersects with the audience's empathy and resonance. This connection serves as his primary motivation in the filmmaking process. Movies are a form of art, but they also function as commercial products. Creators must find a balance between artistic and commercial value. Regardless of the film genre, his approach is to prioritize the human element in the storytelling process. Empathy is the word Ryon Lee wrote on his office whiteboard. While filming, he doesn't intentionally fixate on a specific creative angle. Instead, he channels all his energy into contemplating how to elicit resonance from the audience. Directing and screenwriting are two completely different jobs. His long-term career in drama creation has allowed him to understand the connection between plot direction and audience feedback. He also comprehends the tools required to transform text into images. Thus, he has always been accustomed to both writing and directing himself. However, he has always kept these two roles completely separate. Looking back, he realizes that in the past, he considered being a screenwriter as a means to make it easier to control the film when he directed, aiming for a smoother process and avoiding challenges. In reality, this approach was a form of taking shortcuts, and the resulting works were not entirely satisfactory. Later, a senior advised him to completely separate his identity as a screenwriter from that of a director. When working as a screenwriter, immerse himself in creativity without constraints, and don't worry about the practicalities of shooting. Trying to show too much mercy to the director can be counterproductive. So every time he writes a script, he doesn't think about how to shoot it. When he switches to a director's perspective, he always tries his best to make the plot more complete. Only when these two identities love and challenge each other can he push himself to a higher level. In a previous Chinese movie, No More Bets, there is a line that says people always have two hearts, one is greedy, the other is insatiable. I just can't accept that my life has only one path. So he wants to have a different life. If he just works as a screenwriter, his involvement may only be in the early stages. As a director, he can experience almost everything from the early to the middle and late stages. He goes to different shooting locations and witnesses different lives. When he's directing a film, almost his entire being is projected into that character or story. Experiencing each character feels like living a new life. So, for now, he still wants to continue directing. Winning the Best Director at the Malaysian Film Festival, with 11 nominations and 7 awards, was an unexpected bonus. The film didn't have a grand theme. He simply wanted to use it to record the story of his childhood. Later, the judge panel shared with Ryon Lee that they appreciated the award because they saw the love for this land in the movie. Lee never thought of making a masterpiece known worldwide. He simply felt fortunate to use movies to record his life. Looking back at his works years later, he can relive his emotions, appreciate the changes, and reminisce about the good old days. For example, his movie, Show Me Your Love, records some stories between him and his mother, aiming to make everyone realize that the land they live in once had such beautiful things. In fact, love, truth, goodness, and beauty are what movies should express, a theme of expression. He always feels that the main reason why he can win these awards is not that the film is particularly good or better than others, but because this society happens to need such warm and affectionate stories at the moment. It allows everyone to remember that this land once had beautiful things. If the purpose of creation is too strong, then many elements will be involved in the final story. People will become greedy, and once they become greedy, the story will fall apart. Just as the United States utilizes Hollywood movies to export values, the cultural export capacity of movies remains robust, and the communicative effect is powerful. It can even shape the opinions of a majority of viewers. He always aspires to convey through movies that every piece of land, every space, and every world possesses its unique beauty deserving of our appreciation. In Southeast Asia, it can be said that hundreds of years ago, people shared common ancestors with Chinese compatriots, and were considered brothers and sisters. Movies serve as the most perfect artistic medium, enabling everyone to share diverse lifestyles and cultures with each other. The entire Southeast Asian region shares the same kinship, love, family ties, and basic values. In fact, the entire Chinese-speaking region remains very close. So far, he doesn't have a fixed stance on the types of movies he wants to make. He genuinely sees himself as a life-sharer. However, ultimately, movies are just a means of communication and may not be suited for conveying grand truths. He believes in pursuing a sense of silent influence. Personally, when he is making films, he prefers to convey more of the themes of truth, goodness, and beauty. In his films, even within the thriller genre, he aims to avoid explicitly depicting horrific human nature just for the sake of intensifying fear. Unlike Thai or some Taiwanese thriller films that are engaging but might leave you shuddering afterward, he strives to present characters in his movies that are genuinely touching and emotionally resonant. Movies serve as a medium and conduit for people to comprehend the world. In the context of the ongoing Belt and Road Initiative film, acting as a means of communication in international relations with both economic and cultural attributes, plays a prominent role in cross-cultural communication. He believes that enhancing film exchanges in Southeast Asia can boost confidence in a better future and encourage more people-to-people interactions.